everyone. I'm talking to you from the beautiful Golden Princess. It's the Golden Princess. I'd like to introduce Mel, who has been my travelling companion. Say hi, Mel.
Hi. Me in my loud bracelet.
Yes. Mel has her own YouTube channel called Mel's Blind Life. If you'd like to go over there and give her a look, and also subscribe and press the little bell to get the notifications that will be listed below. Now this video is about accessibility aboard this particular vessel, isn't it, Mel?
Yes.
Tell them about it.
The Golden Princess, we are on board going to New Zealand, and princess cruises are fantastic for people like us who are blind or have low vision. You may be able to hear in the background some very suspicious sounding creaking and groaning. Don't worry, it's just because we're on a cruise ship.
It's not me because I'm older.
That's right, and it's not me because I'm overweight. But we are currently cruising on the Golden Princess, and we want to tell you about some really great accessibility things on board the Golden Princess. And the first thing that we're going to tell you about is the accessible Princess Patter.
Yes, the Princess Patter is a little newsletter that comes out every day of the voyage. It's left in your letterbox, which is at your front door of your cabin. It doesn't matter which cabin, suite, mini suite, interior, whatever. The Princess Patter is delivered to you every day. Now I'll show you what it looks like. This is the print version of the Princess Patter. It has a little chat about safety things, or it might tell you about a particular member of the crew. It has various stories on it during the day. This one's about a couple who have been on 1,500 cruises, 1,500 days of cruising. So there's all sorts of stories, and in the middle are all of the activities for that day. As you can see, there are a great deal of things to do on board a ship. It's not just sitting around looking at the waves. But for us, it's difficult because for Mel, it's in print. She can't read print.
It's a very smooth, very shiny piece of paper that says absolutely nothing.
I can see that there's a lot of writing on here, but I can't read it either because it's way too small for me.
So what do we do instead? Well, there are a couple of options. The first option is we can have a large print version of the Princess Patter, which you can ask for when you email Access Office at Princess, which we'll talk a little bit more about what they offer in a moment. And they will organise a large print version of the Patter to be delivered to you instead of the normal version. Also, you can arrange for them to give you an electronic form of the Patter, but you have to have a USB stick, and you have to take that USB stick down to passenger services every single morning or late every evening to get the version of the Patter for the next day. And who's got time to go all the way down to desk 6 every morning?
No, and stand in a queue, I might add too.
No. So the best way to access Princess Patter for someone who is blind or has low vision and is proficient with a computer, which is something that I must point out, you have to be proficient with a computer, is the Princess at Sea website. Now the Princess at Sea website is really good because it runs on Safari on Mac or Internet Explorer on Windows, and it's a little bit like an intranet platform for the ship.
Yes, you can see it here on my iPad. This is the front page of it. It tells you this is enjoy your day all at sea. And it gives a same thing that you get in your print version of the patter. This particular page is, I've picked out what I want to go and see, and I've actually made an events page just for me, for what I want to see today. But the joy is, for me, is that I can not only use Zoom on the iPad, but I could just, do the finger thing, and I can get it up all nice and large so that I can have a look and see what's on today.
And there's some really other great features of Princess at Sea website. It's not just your events, but they also you can also order room service breakfast through the intranet. You can check your stateroom account, all the money that you've spent on the cruise, and you can send messages to your fellow cruise companions if you get separated or something. And that sort of leads on to the next thing, is once we've chosen an event on the Princess Patter or Princess at Sea, and we're doing separate things, yes, how do we either go to something together, or how do we find each other when we're separated? Because it's a big ship.
Yeah, well, that comes with a little bit of organisation. You can't just, it's not wise when you're vision impaired to just sort of take off and not make arrangements. We sort of make a time where we might meet, and like, for example, this morning we wanted to meet at the Vista Lounge. Well, Mel had changed her mind, and I kept an eye on the message section of the Princess at Sea. It is a messaging system. The only downfall with it is that it doesn't give you a notification, not a sound notification. There isn't a ding or anything to tell you that there's a message there for you. So, but I was watching out for it, because if I have to meet Mel, I'm going to think she could change her mind, or something might have happened and she doesn't want to come. So I just keep an eye out for any messages. And when we're going to an event together, because I'm in the wheelchair, it can make it, and I can see enough to wind my way through the crowds. It's easier for Mel if she can just hang on to the back of my chair, and I'll be the guide through. It's not that she can't do it, it's that it can be a bit overwhelming for both of us sometimes with the crowds that are on a ship. You have to be prepared to deal with crowds. If you don't like crowds, well, perhaps this isn't the best holiday for you. But
and it also depends on the skills of the other of both of you to be able to find one another. In a noisy place, Judy might have trouble hearing me if we were separated from one another. And I mean, in a noisy place, I, as a blind person, can't tell one person from another. And it's just a lot safer to be navigating through a busy bar or something with me holding onto the back of the chair, because I don't want to bump into a table and knock someone's drink flying or anything like that. So there are circumstances in which I just use my cane and my mini guide and I follow, and there are other when I just hold on to the back of the chair. And so one of the most important parts about cruising is what goes in the belly.
Oh yes, cruising's all about the food, folks.
Be prepared to put on about 100 kilos. Well, no, maybe that's a slight exaggeration. But be prepared to put on a couple of kilos unless you're going to walk up and down stairs all day. So once again, we can't just read the menus. What do we do?
Well, the menus that in the restaurants are beautifully presented with beautiful print, different lovely fonts and all that sort of thing. But of course, we can't read them. So prior to getting on the cruise, about a month or two before the cruise, I have to put in a form to the access office for my wheelchair to let them know the weight and dimensions and that sort of thing. And while I was doing that, I put in a request for electronic versions of the menus. Now these menus are for the main dining rooms and for room service. Yep, that's how they come. It's probably about a 16 point, maybe 18, I'm not sure, but it's very easy to read. So I printed them out prior to the getting on the cruise. That one is the dessert menu. So what we get is the mains that comes all in one file, and it's dated. So each day there is the menu for that day. Same with desserts and lunch. They've all got the days. The room service menu, however, is a set thing, and that one we get that's only a few pages, because it's not a huge variety, but it's enough to satisfy you if you want to have your meal in your cabin. Well,
but once again, I can't read something that is on paper. More blank paper. So what do I do? Well, there are a couple of ways of getting around it for myself. As Judy said, we have the menus in an electronic format, and they are in different documents depending on exactly what they are the menu for.
Excuse me, Mel. They do provide them in a PDF format and a Word format.
So what I do myself is, in the phone, I have an iPhone, I save the Word format of the menu into my memory on my phone, and I can just read the menu with VoiceOver. If there is a menu item that I don't understand what VoiceOver is trying to say it's called, something else that I can do is I can put my Braille note to Bluetooth and use it as a Braille display for my phone and read and understand what that menu item is.
And also with the dinner menus, that can go for many pages. It's quite long, so I haven't printed that out.
No.
I actually kept that on my iPad so that I can look at it in large print that way, because I think it came to something like 53 pages, which is a little bit hard to be thumbing through.
And the other thing about the menus is that if you listen to the morning program,
the Wake Show.
Why am I pointing at the television?
I don't know.
If you listen to the Wake Show, which is on your stateroom channel 21 on the television, they actually have the maitre d' come on and read sort of the menu for the main dining room every day, which they've been doing this cruise, except for days where they've got something really special on, like the Crab Shack or something like that. But very often the maitre d' will come on and read some of the menu items to you on the Wake Show. The last thing, I guess, going back to the wheelchair, is what things have been provided for the cabin in the wheelchair, and what happens with regards to embarking and disembarking on our cruise.
With the wheelchair, it was a bit daunting at first, because I didn't know what to expect. This is cruises ago, but when I book, or when either of us book the actual cruise, we do all our own bookings. We don't have anyone do anything for us. It's all done completely independently. And if I'm traveling with Mel or whatever, I'm traveling with anybody, I request a wheelchair accessible cabin. They're available in all classes: interior, ocean view, balcony, and I think mini suite. The rooms are bigger than the average cabin. They've got a proper bathroom set up with rails and lots of room. And on this particular cruise, it's the first time I've been in this particular cabin on this particular deck. It even has a little arms on the toilet seat so that you can help yourself lift up. And also with this cabin, which you'd have to request for most of the other balcony cabins, but this particular one this time, it is a particularly large balcony, and they've given us a portable ramp to get in and out. It has a half for the inside and another half for the outside. So it makes it a lot easier.
And when we do embarkation, Judy and I are actually both platinum members, which means that we get priority boarding anyway because of our captain's circle level. But before our captain's circle level, we were able to get priority embarkation because of our, I'm going to say the D word, close your ears.
Okay.
Disability.
Ooh, what?
Yeah, so I have travelled with both of my parents who were both blind in the past, and we got the priority embarkation because we all had the disability, and everyone who is in a wheelchair gets priority embarkation as well.
That involves mainly not having to go to the huge queues. They take you into a separate area where you can organise your cruise card, which, I haven't got mine on. That's basically your key to your cabin, your charge card for anything you purchase on the ship, and they organise that there. Then they will put you through a separate area where you can go through and finally wind your way through with the help of someone to where the passports are checked.
Mm-hmm. And the person who helps you through the priority embarkation is very, very helpful, and it is very convenient having access to that. And this particular cruise, if I hadn't have gone through embarkation without the assistance of the gentleman, a lovely picture with a certain teddy bear who is in my introduction wouldn't have been taken.
Yes, well, I don't remember why we were.
Because I had the cases in the car.
Oh, that's right. We normally would go through together, but things were a bit messed up this time. And I went through first, and I saw this teddy bear being, and I immediately knew, I hope someone tells Mel about this, because she's particularly enamored with this bear.
That photo is in my intro now, by the way. So we've been on this ship 5 times. We love this ship to death, and we are both very, very sad because this is our last cruise on this particular ship ever. How long did it take you to learn your way around the beautiful golden princess? Yeah.
We're just poking a little bit of fun at our current Captain
Eldo Traverso. He liked to traverse all the seas, no?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. He's got a lovely Italian accent, and we just love it. Oh yes.
How long did it take you to learn the beautiful Golden Princess?
Not very long. I have a little bit of trouble when the first couple of voyages, I would get disorientated when I was midships as to which was aft and which was forward. But
forward and aft, actually.
Yes, it is actually. See what I mean? Because you can't tell which direction you're actually going in when you're on a ship, and because like at the moment it's very smooth at the moment, isn't it?
Yes, it's very sad. It's calmed down a bit.
Yes, we've had a lovely bumpy, well, not too bumpy for those who have never sailed before, but I could really feel anything at the moment. So I'm not even getting a sensation of really moving. So at first I used to get disorientated, but now I use various things, like for example on the deck 5, which is the main deck where some entertainment takes place, and the captain does his talks. When he does in-person talks from there, there's entertainment and there's food and there's shop, and I use various ways of knowing where I am. The art gallery, of course, that comes out and you get a smell of oil paints. There's the International Cafe. I can always smell the coffee there. It's just various sounds perhaps that you might get, and smells, and I've got some visual cues that I've learned so I know where I am. I don't get that disorientated feeling anymore.
One of the things that it took me probably about between 24 and 48 hours on my first voyage on the Golden Princess to really get oriented. One of the main things that I used to do, and that I would be doing this cruise if a mysterious mystery hadn't taken place, is I usually have a little puppy dog on the door handle of our room, and it's a little guide dog puppy, and I think I've shown you him in previous cruise videos. Handle, his name is, and Handle is supposed to belong on the door of my cabin so that I know where my cabin is. But
yes,
there was a mystery, and Handle is gone.
He was dog-napped.
He was. Someone stole a blind man's guide dog.
But
as for the thing about this cabin, even without Handle, is it's very easy to find this particular room because it's got a slightly wider door, and also it's right near the forward lifts because it's an accessible cabin. It's right at the lifts. But for me, I know on deck 7, for example, that the promenade bar, my favorite bar at the moment, and the casino are forward, and the hole, as I like to call it, that looks down on the piazza is between the promenade bar and the midship stairway.
The hole covers 3 decks, so that people can
Big hole.
It is. So people can look. This gives people more room to look down at either the captain's thing or entertainment, or like today there's some competitions, an egg
drop
where you have to somehow wrap up your egg, a raw egg. Is it raw or hard boiled?
It would have to be raw.
Yes, it would be raw, and you have to wrap it up and with as much protection as you can, and then drop it from a very great height onto the floor.
So for me, if I'm coming back to our cabin or even going to something in the back of deck 7 and I've been at the promenade bar and it's peak hour in the casino, what I might do is I might go back to the midship stairs and I might walk up the midship steps to deck 8 and then walk along to the forward stairs to get to the theatre, which I'm going to be doing tonight, to avoid the crowd in the casino.
Can I add one thing about the accessible cabin? The accessible cabins are rare. There's not many of them on a ship. And thankfully for me, the shipping companies are getting stricter with the requirements for people who can have one of these cabins. They are strictly for people who have severe mobility issues. That's a wheelchair user or someone who has, there are other cabins that are suitable for people with walkers. You can still get an ordinary cabin for a walker, but because there's so few of these things and so many people in wheelchairs are traveling now, for example, on this cruise, I've seen, and that includes scooters, I might add.
Said about 10.
Oh, easily 10. So they're not for anybody. Not everyone with a disability can get one of these cabins. No, Mel couldn't have one if she was on her own because her disability doesn't qualify her to have one of these cabins. You've stayed in ordinary cabins, haven't you? You've been fine.
And the only safety accessibility thing that a blind person in a normal cabin needs to be aware of is the fact that there's a mighty big step into the bathroom. But I mean, you're only going to fall down at once.
Yeah. Well, even in the past when I could still walk, I had stayed in those cabins, and even when I was on a walker I still stayed in those cabins, so I could manage. But that's not the case anymore, and I really have to have one of these ones. Thanks for watching, everyone. We hope you enjoyed this video and got lots of helpful tips and tricks about traveling on board ship. I love traveling by ship. For me, it's the ultimate holiday because it's so easy. You come into your cabin, you unpack once, you don't have to worry about anything. You can just do everything you want, can't you, Mel?
Yeah, but we have to pack tonight.
Oh yeah. This is our very last voyage on Golden Princess. This is our 5th voyage. We consider the Golden Princess. We're picking on our captain. I'm sorry, sir.
Your Highness, Your Majesty.
Aldo Traverso is our captain, and he has a very strong, very cute Italian accent, and we take him off
those
all the time.
nautical knots. And
yes,
all of that. The Nord.
He says norwesterly.
He's course.
Yeah. Sorry, sir.
Your worship.
Huh?
Your worship.
You're terrible, Mel. Anyway, this is our last voyage, and we're both very sad about it. We will still be travelling with Princess because it's our favourite cruise line, and we will learn to love a new ship eventually.
It's going to take a while to forget our Goldie, though.
Oh yeah, we're very fond of her. So anyway, that's it, and please go over to Mel's Blind Life and have a look at her videos, and all the links will for Princess Cruises and Mel's Blind Life and anything else we've mentioned will be down below. Please subscribe to my channel and press the ding-a-ling-a-ling notification button so that you get notification when I have new videos up. That's it. So, bye.
Bye.